for a very long time. And he saw DL Hughley and I just going back and forth, joking back and forth with each other on Twitter. He reached out. My mom and I drove down from Ohio to Atlanta. It's like a 9-hour drive to come perform at his club for a weekend. Went there. We hit it off really well. He explained to me the things he wanted to do for my career, and I didn't know any better. So I was like, yeah, however you want to help. And my mom was also like, yeah, whatever keeps him off drugs, I guess. So
did that work? Did it keep you off drugs?
Until like my early 20s. Yeah,
okay.
I would
well,
say
that's
so.
not bad. That's probably better. That's a better time to start than like 12.
He did a fantastic job. Yeah, exactly. I'm from Ohio. I'm lucky I didn't brush my teeth with fentanyl growing up. It was bad. My hometown was so trashy.
Diversify your savings with physical precious metals while stockpiling silver in your home safe. With Birch Gold Group's most popular special of the year, now through December 22nd, for every $5,000 you spend with Birch Gold, they'll send you a 1-ounce silver eagle coin for free. Text Jordan to 989898 to claim your eligibility now. You can purchase gold and silver and have it shipped directly to your home, or have Birch Gold's precious metals specialists help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold for no money out of pocket. And once again, they'll send you free silver for every $5,000 you purchase. Keep it for yourself or give something with real value as a stocking stuffer this year. Just text the keyword Jordan to 989898 to claim your eligibility. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers, now is the time to buy gold from Birch Gold. Text Jordan to 989898 and claim your eligibility for free silver on qualifying purchases before December 22nd. That's Jordan to 989898.
So he finds me on Twitter. We go down there, we meet, we hit it off. And he offers me to come down there the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. And I go down there and I live on a comics couch for 3 months, my entire summer break. I go down there and I'm doing 9 to 11 shows a week. I'm going to the malls, I'm passing out free tickets, I'm hanging posters up to promote shows. I'm going in to the comedy club at 3 p.m. to like practice my set while he throws tennis balls at me and honks horns and jingles, anything he can do to distract me to a very Mr. Miyagi.
That was part of the training regimen.
Exactly. And I think to this day, I think it helps me keep my composure in the pocket. Like I'm not thrown for a loop when somebody yells out something.
Right. That typical exposure therapy from a psychological perspective. Right?
Exactly. That's a way fancier way to say it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So So how did he know to do that, do you think? That's smart.
I'm not sure. He's a fantastic guy. His name's Gary Abdo. He's very prominent in the comedy community. He's helped out a lot of people starting out in their career. Like he was very prominent in Chappelle's early years when he was like a late teenager. Earthquake.
Right. So he's probably seen people thrown by hecklers and so forth and by trouble because you can't get knocked out of your groove.
Well, his comedy club down there was called the Uptown Comedy Corner, and it was notoriously known as like one of the harshest comedy clubs in the country. It was a tough environment. Like they either loved you or they would boo you off stage.
Oh yeah.
So for me to go in there as a kid, yes, you have the novelty of like he's a kid, give him a chance.
Right.
But
only so far.
Yeah. So you got to get them in the first couple of minutes. Otherwise, they're not going to sit there and watch you do 5 or 10 minutes. They don't have that patience in them. So I go down there and I get trained in like one of the harshest environments possible. And in doing that, I meet more comics who are coming through the club. I would pretty much open for like anybody that came through the club down there. I met a lot of comics who lived out of LA. So then when I went back to high school for my senior year, I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew comedy was what I wanted to do. So I flew out to Los Angeles and I took the CHESP, the California Proficiency Exam, which in certain states is kind of like college where you have to have a certain amount of credits to graduate high school. The CHESP is essentially a test you can take at any time that basically tests you out of high school. You've learned everything you need to learn.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
That's a great option.
It's fantastic. So I flew out there, took the test, came back. I had to wait like 2 weeks for my results, but I had a good feeling about it. So I was just going to school for 2 weeks and just like sleeping throughout class. I wouldn't do any of the work. I wouldn't take any of the tests.
How old were you at that point?
I just turned 17, maybe I just turned 17. I was maybe still 16.
And so that's after you came back from LA?
Yes.
Right.
Came back from taking the test, waiting for the results, got the results back at like the first week of January, moved out to my friend Eric Griffin's couch 2 weeks after that. So I was about like 4 or 5 months early from graduating high school, moved out there, lived on his couch for the first couple of months. Then my manager at the time, his son graduated film school. He moved out to Los Angeles. I stayed on his couch for the next year. And I was just going to comedy clubs every single night. I would go and just hang out. Some of them wouldn't even let me hang out inside until finally people would vouch for me. People wouldn't show up on the lineup, and where somebody was like, well, he's
All
here.
right, so you're
Just give
hanging
him a
around
chance.
enough to get your opportunity.
Exactly. But funny enough, sometimes I would get the opportunity to go on stage, and I literally couldn't step foot in the comedy club until they were like announcing, and Matt Rife. And then I would have to run through into the comedy club, go on stage, and leave immediately after because I wasn't 21. So they still had to abide by like their own rules in a very loophole way. And in doing that, I just kind of stayed consistent in the scene. I was getting more and more prominent stage time. I started to book smaller and smaller, turning into larger TV appearances, which was some Disney stuff that led to a bunch of MTV stuff. And then after I left all my MTV stuff, I just became really dedicated to stand up and transferring over to acting and producing and developing and all that kind of stuff.